This is so important, and if you pay adequate attention, you will be in a very good position to write that compelling novel that you always wanted to write. Now, what are these elements? Basically, there are 5 elements: characters, plot, setting, conflict, and point of view. On this also, there is not consensus. Some people say that point of view is not an element and they restrict themselves only to the first 4. And there are some people who say elements are actually 6 or 7. They also include description and dialogues as elements. But most people agree that these 5 are the elements of any novel. Now, who are characters? Characters are the people in the story. So they could be a hero, there is a heroine, there is a villain, there are other characters and other people in the story. These are called as the characters. The second is plot. Now, plot is basically the broad outline of the story. What is going to happen at an important stage of the story, that is called as the plot. The third element is setting. Setting means the place and time the story is set. So place could be the geographical location of the place. The timing could be either it could be a historical novel, which means it is set in the past. It could be a contemporary novel, which means it is set now in the present time, or it could be a futuristic novel, which means it is set anytime in the future. Now, the fourth element is conflict. Now, conflict is the problem that the central character, the protagonist or the hero is facing. What is the problem and how that particular protagonist is going to solve that problem is actually the conflict. The fifth element is point of view. Now, point of view is who is telling a story. And you might be surprised because you might think that it is the author's job to tell the story to the reader. Well, that is not how it is done. The writer actually creates a narrator, and it is the narrator's job to tell the story. Now, that narrator could be one of the characters in the story, or it could be someone who is invisible in the story, who is privy to the different thoughts that is going on in the multiple characters that are part of that particular story. At this moment, you must understand that the writer does not tell the story to a reader. It is a narrator who tells the story, and in the way the narrator tells the story, that is actually the point of view. So these are broadly 5 elements of any story or any novel. Now the question comes, why these elements are important? Why it is important for us to understand what these elements are, what is the importance, what the roles they are going to play, how it is important for the reader, for the writer, for the reviewer, or for the whole publishing ecosystem. Well, the elements are actually tools in the hands of a writer because they ensure that the writer is in control of the theme of the story, and also the writer is able to ensure a proper build-up. Now, as far as writing is concerned and the writers are concerned, it also allows them to ensure that the story is not fraying out. They have total control of the story. It is not going in multiple directions. It is going in the direction that it was originally intended. Now, it makes reading more enjoyable and relatable. This is for the readers. Now, if readers have a basic understanding of the elements, they can enjoy the story more. It is also possible for reader A to talk to reader B and say, okay, in this particular story, this element worked for me. This is why I liked, because the characters were interesting, the setting was brilliant, or I could relate to the conflict, etc. So it becomes very easy for readers to discuss among themselves and understand why a particular story they liked more than any other. Now, for reviewers, now reviewing is a very, very important part of the whole publishing ecosystem. Now, it is important for the reviewers to understand this because then they can critique a particular piece of writing in a significant way, where the writers also understand where they've gone wrong and how they can improve. The publishers also understand, and the readers would come to know whether they would like to buy and read this book or not. So, elements are important for everyone. They're important for the writers, they're important for the readers, they're important for the publishers, they're also important for the reviewers. Are you ready for the quiz time? So here's the question. Harry Potter novels have been written by J.K. Rowling. Is she the one who is telling us